Hello viewers, not Super GT here. My name is Nyxre, and welcome to some Forza Horizon 4 Ranked Adventures. I'm actually still pretty new to the Ranked Adventures system in Forza Horizon 4, which I know probably sounds really odd considering the game is almost 2 years old now, but what else can you do? But we're going to start off today with some S2 class street racing, and we're going to use the Hoonigan Ford RS200 Evo, which from what I hear is actually a pretty decent choice for this matchup. And I actually was able to pick this up for relatively cheap from a fellow viewer over on Twitch, so thank you for that generosity. But now it is up to me to actually perform well with it, so let's see what I can do. So right off the bat, I'm already kind of feeling like I've made a major mistake here, just looking at the rest of the field and noticing all of the supercars, the hypercars, and there's even a Camaro thrown in there for good measure. Meanwhile, I'm driving, well, this thing. But we're not going to give up right off the bat. That would be the inadvisable thing to do. Instead, we're going to get a pretty good start off the line here. And then, of course, I'm going to go right into the first corner and go much too wide. And unfortunately start getting passed left and right by essentially everybody. But it's okay, because then going into the second turn, you'll notice that about half the field have decided that that turn does not apply to them, and they're just gonna go off into this nearby park. Moving on to the S's, you will see my severe lack of experience as I begin to foolishly brake for something which I could have easily taken at full speed, and then short then after nearly kill this guy in a civilian vehicle. Their insurance rates are definitely gonna skyrocket after seeing that. I'm then gonna follow this bright pink Lamborghini, which was far too distracting, right off the track, but it's okay, I am not the only one. A bit farther ahead down the line, we're going to then see this Ferrari 599 almost crash into the nearby baker, and then I'm going to take out his shrubs across the street. And at this point, I'm beginning to notice that I'm not too far behind these guys, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that by just crashing into the nearby clothing store. Unfortunately, someone's going to have to clean that up, but of course, you know, not until after the pandemic is over. And because of that, you'll see as we flash forward throughout the end of the race, I wasn't able to really make up much more ground outside of a few spare cars which decided to stop for a donut break for some reason, bringing it home in 7th place, roughly around the middle of the field, so not great, not terrible either, as we see quite a few people finished almost 15 seconds behind me. And so we're going to move on into the second event, the second of 3 in this championship. Starting off in the 3rd position for this race, we're going to go ahead and get a pretty good start off the line, and in the very first turn we're gonna, you know, abuse the wall a little bit, totally not intentional by any means, and then we're gonna go ahead and almost do the same with the second turn, so we're off to an amazing start. And then just one corner later we're gonna decide that we no longer want to be a car, we would like to be a boat, and so we just about put ourselves into the river, costing us precious seconds, so we'll have to look back at the end and see how many positions that actually ended up costing us. So we come out onto the straight in 8th place, and you never know what you can expect on the straightaways. You know, in this case, young Alpaca decided he wanted to pause his game momentarily and probably look up just how young alpacas actually are if they were born in 1996. Some unfortunate news that guy's probably just gotten. Wouldn't be surprised if he left the game. But anyways, we're gonna continue on towards the bridge, and there's a troll underneath that one, ironically. And we're gonna see some vehicular combat, which fortunately allows us to gain a few free positions. Moving a bit further ahead, we're then going to be viciously attacked by a little dark mouse who then disappears into the woods, never to be seen again, except he then comes back across the circuit, and who knows where he ended up. Not much else really happened for the rest of the race, and we're going to bring it home in 4th place, so a pretty marginal improvement over the first event. But there is still one more event in this championship series which could make or break the entire thing. The game then decided that it would be a funny practical joke to then start me on pole for the final event. So surely in the first few corners I'm either going to lead everyone to their death off of an immediate right hand corner, or I'm just going to do it myself. Unfortunately, you're going to see here I'm going to brake far too early just to avoid that specific case, and right before your very eyes you're going to notice I'm falling apart and quickly falling behind everybody as I look at my glowing brake rotors for some reason. Fortunately, I actually have a special ability to phase through people, and so we're going to pull a Casper the Friendly Ghost on that Lamborghini, saving both of our lives in the progress. Or I guess just the Lamborghinis, as of course, if I'm a ghost I must already be dead, probably killed by all of the rammers in this game. And then moving forward further down the line, we're going to see the Mystic Brute go off track, and as we try and pass him cleanly, we're then going to pull another Casper the Friendly Ghost as he tries to fulfill the domestic portion of his gamertag and viciously ram us off the circuit. Which will then bring us to the end of the third and final event of this championship, bringing home second place. So again, another improvement over the final race before that, and only losing out to the guy that actually managed to get a good start after starting on the front row, which of course was not me. We do end up bringing home the fourth place in the championship, so could have been significantly worse, but still plenty of room for improvement. And then in the celebration podium room, we are greeted by a dancing Easter Bunny. So I know exactly what kind of competition to expect from in the future. Now after doing fairly well in that event, I figured why not give it another shot. So the next event we're going to go into is a 5-event B-Class Dirt Racing Championship with some free roam rush shown in there. And here's where the mistakes start to come in. You're going to notice I picked the 2002 Skyline GTR because I did not pay attention to any of the other options I had available and decided that I wanted to make this fairly interesting for myself. Now I'm sure many of you already know where this story is about to head, but we're going to go ahead and spectate the race anyways, just to make sure that I haven't actually found some miraculously overpowered combination that you've never heard of, as we look back and see that the Jeep decided that he needed to take a nap real quick. He had to give me a head start to give me a fighting chance. As you notice, we're struggling to even climb up this hill above highway speed. And I'm not really joking when I'm saying that I'm pretty sure the car I drive in real life, which is a Honda Accord, could probably beat this in almost any actual race because there's not been any tuning done, and I just chose it out of a mere whim. And so of course by the end of the first lap we find ourselves in last place, but this guy in the convertible truck decides he needs to stop for a quick bathroom break because he knows he can do so because I'm not much of a competition to him. And just to prove that, he's then going to pass me and then drift just to put some smoke in my face because he knows I have absolutely no speed to fight back with. Nothing else really happened in that race, and we did end up finishing in last, so we're just going to move ahead to the second event here, which is a free roam rush, where the game has graciously decided to start me on pole as the Daytona car decides to just pull away, along with another two, and then eventually probably with the whole field. But because I did so poorly in the first event, my strategy throughout this event was primarily just to stick to the road, which is pretty much the opposite of what I generally try to do. And you'll see there somebody's quickly run off the course into the trees. Now we're just going to continue ahead and see where this gets us. Further down the straight, I see that I'm still in third place, which I can really only contribute to a nuclear missile attack that I am unaware of, taking out the latter half of the field. That's the only real explanation. And then the two leaders both decide that they would also like to both become boats instead of land vehicles, and would you look at that, I am now in first place. So the nuclear missile theory is looking more and more likely with every waking moment, and on top of that I'm actually pulling away from the field. Towards the last quarter or so of the race, I then see that we've now met a fork on the roads, and I've completely forgotten that this was free roam rush at the time, and you see several people beginning to pass me as I launch my Skyline up into the air, becoming part of the Skyline, quite ironically, and through the river where this car is clearly not intended to be. But we're going to run up towards the line, clearly not going to win, but you're going to see this sore loser in second place decides that if he can't finish the race, neither can I, as he shoves me out of the way. And keep in mind, he probably would have finished second there, and well, instead I finished third, and he's going to finish significantly farther down the field, so great job, Fred Gruger. You've now finished 6th place. 10,000 IQ play on your part. We're going to go ahead and skip the 4th race entirely and go right into the 5th one because the 4th race was nothing really exciting. Another dirt circuit where, of course, this car finished in last place. But in the final free roam rush, you're noticing that half the field completely forgot that it was a free roam rush at the start. So I got a pretty good start. And then I hurt myself in my confusion and began trying to find the road again as everyone else actually outsmarted myself and continued on ahead, except for the Daytona, who actually hits me, and he's pretty nice about it. At least he does say sorry, so good on him. But you're going to notice that about half of this track is actually just a really long straight on the highway, which does suit this car pretty well. I mean, it is meant for the road, But unfortunately we aren't as fast as the Daytona, or basically half of the other cars in the race. So unfortunately we're not going to finish as well as we might have hoped. As you'll see, we do bring it home in 3rd place, so that it is another podium position, significantly better than the way most of the series had gone. Unfortunately, that does mean we only finished 4th in the championship. Not last place at the very least, but about half the field did drop out about halfway through the championship series. And in the podium room, we actually noticed that the championship winner himself is actually a giant chicken dancing the YMCA. So take that as you will. And after that relatively disappointing championship, we're going to do the only reasonable thing that anybody would actually do, and we're going to take this Hoonigan and drive it right into a tree at 150 miles an hour, losing our side mirror in the process. It is too ashamed to be a part of our car for any longer. And that's actually going to be the end of the video. So 2 championship events in the Ranked Adventure mode. One went relatively well, the other not so much after making an absolutely stupid car choice. But yeah, let me know if you enjoyed seeing this type of content. I've certainly enjoyed playing Forza Horizon 4 over the last few weeks, and I'd be excited to create more of this content for you guys if it's something you'd actually like to see. So if you did enjoy the video, feel free to leave a like. It really does help me out quite a bit. You could also subscribe to see future content like this if that's what you're interested in. And if you'd like to tune into my Twitch channel, I do play Forza Horizon 4 relatively often, and I host plenty of open lobbies, so if you're interested you can hop in on one of those in the future. But either way, thanks for stopping by. I hope you did enjoy the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.